Please welcome Steve Beshear.
Thank you. Thank you. I want to ask you a question, and I really want to hear your response. Is it time to throw Ernie Fletcher out on his ear once and for all this November? My friends, it is time to have some good, experienced, and honest leadership in Frankfort for a change. And that's what Dr. Daniel Mangiardo and I are offering to the people of this state. I want to introduce you to the good-looking part of the ticket, Dr. Daniel Mangiardo over here. I didn't want to disappoint all you ladies, so he came with me. I also want to introduce you to somebody else. Somebody here representing a ticket that is no longer in this race because they decided that the best thing to do to ensure that we had a Democratic nominee that could beat Ernie Fletcher or whoever the Republican nominee is in the fall was Steve Beshear and Daniel Mangiardo, and they stepped up and put the interest of this state and the interest of the Democratic Party before their own interest, and that's Jonathan Miller and Irv Mays, and Irv Mays is right over here, and I'd like for you to give him a hand. My friends, it is time for new leadership, and it is time for leadership that will finally put Kentucky and Kentuckians first again. I want to ask you another question, and I want to hear your response. Are you sick and tired of every year sending billions of American dollars overseas to countries that hate our guts just so that we can get their foreign oil and bring it over here to run our cars and trucks and heat our homes? Are you? Well, I'm as sick and tired of it as you are. And my friends, it is time that this country becomes energy independent. And we are sitting on top of the very resources in this state of ours that can help this country do just that. We've got the East Kentucky coal field and we got the West Kentucky coal field. And it is time, my friends, that we make coal a good, positive energy generator and a good, positive job generator in our state again, and we can do that. We're going to invest in clean coal technology. We're going to make Kentucky a leader in the mining of coal. We're going to make Kentucky a leader in coal mine safety, and we're going to make Kentucky a leader in protecting our environment. And we can do all three of those things at the same time and create thousands of jobs in this state. We're also going to be the leader in creating the alternative fuels industry of tomorrow here in Kentucky today. Look at all this rich farmland that we've got all around us here. And farmers are crying out for markets for their crops. And if we push the ethanol production, the biodiesel production, the biomass production that we can do in this state, we're going to create new markets for our crops and new markets for our farmers. It is time to put Kentucky's health care first again. You know, we've got 81,000 kids in this state that don't have any health care coverage. Did you know that? That's a crime. That is a crime. And Daniel Mangiardo and I have a plan to make sure that every one of those kids has health care coverage. And we're going to make that the first priority in our administration from a health care standpoint. The other thing we'll do immediately is on the other end of the age spectrum with our senior citizens. Right now, under this Medicare Part D plan, about the first $3,000 of your prescription drugs are covered. But then you hit a gap. They call it the donut hole. And for about the next $3,500, folks, it is 100% right out of your pocket. We have senior citizens in this state today who are having to choose between eating and buying the drugs they need to keep alive and stay healthy, and that's a crime also. We're going to put a program together to help our senior citizens be able to pay for those prescription drugs. It's time to put our education of our kids first again. It is time to reach down and strengthen our early childhood education efforts in this state. We got thousands of kids living below the federal poverty level in our state. They don't get the advantages of early childhood education like yours kids and my kids get. And so by the time they hit the first grade, they've got about a 10% chance of being successful. Well, my folks, when you turn that around, that's a 90% chance of failing. We've lost the battle before we start. We need to make sure that every child in this state, no matter what their income status, no matter what their social level is able to have early childhood education and development programs so that every one of them have the chance of being successful in this life. We're also going to look at the other end of the education spectrum with college tuition. In the last 7 years, college tuition at our schools, our Kentucky schools, has gone up 86%. 86%. It's getting to where Kentucky kids can't afford to go to Kentucky colleges. I can't really blame our schools for that. I'll tell you the cause of it. It's state government has not adequately funded our colleges and universities. And so the only way that they can raise money to do their job is to raise tuition. So number one, we're going to adequately fund our schools. But number two, we've got to address that high tuition. And we're going to create Kentucky First scholarships that will help our children go to school and stay right here in Kentucky. We're going to put Kentucky first again when Daniel Mangiardo and Steve Beshear are the next governor and lieutenant governor of the Commonwealth of Kentucky. Thank you all very much.